as you look at different primates in the primate tree, what does that tell you about, what makes primates sort of special in terms of empathy, and maybe how empathy evolved within primates?
I'm personally not sure that primates are so special.
Oh yeah.
So I study primates.
How can you say that we're primates?
I love primates, but I think primates are sometimes overrated in the sense that instead of all of these mechanisms are present in other mammals as well, and so I know I'm a primatologist myself, and so I know that there are some people who study chimpanzees and they don't even want to look at a monkey. A monkey is beneath contempt. And then you have people who work on monkeys and they don't want to look at dogs, because dogs, dogs are domesticated in addition, which is bad. And so people have all these opinions, and I usually call that chauvinism, like there's bird chauvinists and primate chauvinists and elephant chauvinists. And I personally, I've always liked all sorts of animals, and I could have easily worked with fish all my life, probably. But I think that all these behaviors are somehow connected, and we do at the moment studies on elephants. I have people who work on elephants in Thailand. We do work on elephants at the Bronx Zoo. We did a study on elephants. And so I think that there are some animals who then, and some of them are primates, who have a mental capacity to take this empathic ability to a higher level. And those animals are the animals like dolphins, elephants, and the apes. Not the monkeys, but the apes. And what they add to it is that they can take that emotional connection. It's like for example, if you are telling me a sad story and you have a sad expression on your face, I'm going to be looking sad, unless I'm a psychopath. But but normally...
Which he's not.
Yeah, normally I would adopt, if you're laughing, I would be laughing, and so I would adopt sort of the body echo of you. What then the apes add to that, and humans also, is that I'm going to try to figure out where your mood comes from, or your feelings, or whatever you're expressing, where that comes from. So there's a curiosity about your state of mind. And the higher evolved my intelligence is, the better I am at figuring out what your situation is, and I'm adopting your perspective then at that case. And I don't think monkeys do that. I don't think dogs necessarily do that. And so they're stuck with an empathy that makes them distressed if somebody else is distressed, and happy when somebody else is happy. But there's not much in there of trying to look at their situation from their perspective. And that's what you're going to see in apes and dolphins and elephants. And there's lots of evidence for that. And a lot of that is unfortunately anecdotal. And people sometimes complain about that. It's not all anecdotal. So we do have experiments. But the most complex forms of altruism that we see in these animals are anecdotal stories. But that's also true for humans. So let me give you a typical story, a chimpanzee story. This happened at a Swedish zoo, where a young chimpanzee, a juvenile chimpanzee, had a rope twice around its neck and was choking, and was basically going to die, and no one could interfere because you cannot just walk into a chimpanzee group and do something. And so the caretakers were very upset. The alpha male of the group, chimpanzee, went to the juvenile, picked it up, and so took the pressure off the rope, and unwrapped the rope and then put the juvenile down, which is a very smart response if you think of it, because the stupid response, which you would expect, is that they start pulling at the juvenile and would kill it that way. So a very smart response that requires that male had experience with ropes, obviously, and that he knew what to do under these circumstances. Now, that kind of perspective taking cannot be imitated in a laboratory. No one is going to set up a laboratory experiment where a juvenile chimpanzee is choking in a rope. And so, also with humans. With humans, we have wonderful stories of how humans run into burning buildings and save lives, or dive into rivers and so on. No one is setting up experiments on these high-cost forms of altruism. And so, for humans, all the stories we have are basically anecdotal. And for animals, they're basically anecdotal, but we have lots of stories. And the remarkable thing is that the stories on costly altruism like this, and intelligent, costly altruism, they come from apes and dolphins and elephants, which I think are the animals who have that capacity.